Well, here we are on Long Lake. It's the one in Thurston County. I'm down here to catch largemouths because I don't want to be in the same situation I was last year where I got to the end of the year and I didn't have 5 largemouths and I couldn't catch one. So I figured I'd get those out of the way. This is a largemouth lake. I'm coming down here to try to catch me a largemouth. And yeah, so that's my focus. Once again, I'm going to spend a lot of time fishing a wacky worm on docks just because, again, post spawn, I expect there'll be some fish, at least fry garters, under the docks, and I should be able to catch some. So here I am. I think this is my second cast, and you can see I got the wacky worm, and if you read my lips, I wasn't happy. I casted it over the dock. Well, it wasn't hooked on the dock, but I couldn't get it unhooked. And so when I went to start pedaling again, the wacky worm went down and touched the top of the water and the fish came up and hit it. And I got him on here right here. And I'm like, how am I going to get to the other side of the dock? There's like a ladder and stuff in the way. And it didn't matter. He broke me off. And if you read those lips, it wasn't very happy. But hey, second cast, you gotta hit. You gotta be somewhat optimistic about that, even if there is a fish out there with a worm hanging off his face. So that was kind of depressing, that part that he got off, but we will endeavor to improve. As I'm re-gearing back up here, let me just say that I was really thrilled with this lake. It had a nice mixture of soft and hard bottom and relatively clear water. And hey, look, I just got a hit here. So yeah, it looked like it was pretty fishy. I was pretty excited, and then I realized that there's rock bass in this lake too. So yeah, caught a rock bass, and I'll get him unhooked and toss him back. Yep, got another hit here, but once again, it's just a rock bass. So I was getting a little concerned here that I might spend all day unhooking rock bass. So I was hopeful here that I would start to see some largemouths, because I traveled a little over an hour to get to this lake, and my expectation was I was going to catch at least one largemouth bass. But yeah. So far, I've got one big screw up on my part and 2 little rock bass. I actually spent quite a bit of time right here in that little section just because I had seen a large bass, but eventually I had to move on because A, it wasn't biting, and B, there were other docks to hit up. And so here, what's amazing is I made a backhand cast and it was successful. It went under the dock, and then yeah, something happened and I set the hook, and yeah, there was a fish on the end, and this is a little bit bigger fish. I was pretty happy to feel this tug on the line. And as a nice change of pace, it's not a rock bass either. It is, in fact, a largemouth bass. So it was a pretty easy net job, and now we're gonna get him all situated and try to get a measurement from him. Of course, as soon as I get him unhooked and pull him out of the net, the little rascal decides he's going to wiggle free, and he ends up on the bottom of the kayak. But that's okay. He's still in it, so give me a chance to grab my measuring board and get him on it. He was quite feisty still, but he was 15 3/4 inches, and that's big enough to make it into the year-end tournament. Yeah, as always, we're going to put the little rascal back in, let him grow bigger for the next person, and then we're going to get everything put away here and head off onto our next dock. Let's see what that one leads to. For about the next 45 minutes, I went into an area that was a lot more shallow and a lot softer bottom, and I just didn't get any more hits. But I came across this dock, which I have dubbed to be the impossible dock, and so far I've casted at it 3 times, and I haven't hit it in the slots between the floats there. So you see, I'm trying to get it under the dock, and it's like 6, 7 casts so far. I think overall I casted at that dock at least 20 times, and I eventually got one cast to go in between the floats. Oh, I thought it might turn into Christmas by the time I actually got the wacky worm to get underneath the dock, but I did eventually get it. All right, sorry, I'll spare you having to watch me be an inept caster, and we'll go on to the next dock that we came to. And as I was rolling up to this, I thought, oh, this dock looks fantastic. And of course, you know, the first cast that I make goes exactly where I wanted it to go, and it turns out that there is a rope in that area of the dock, and it gets hung up on it, so I have to go get it out. And it turns out, with the wind and dealing with the snag, I end up getting stuck in a tree. Now, this particular tree is a particularly grabby tree. And I'm stuck. I can't get out. I can't figure out why. And it's because the tree has gotten wrapped around the camera, and I keep looking at my rods, and I'm like, what in the heck is this thing stuck to? Well, turns out it was my camera. And as I'm trying to unhook it with my paddle and everything else, which turns out to be not a very good idea, because when I get it unhooked, get the tree unhooked from the camera, of course, the whole thing falls in the water. Oh, luckily my camera is in a waterproof case that I've modified, and I find out that my modification isn't 100%. It did have a couple of drops of water inside the case after it sat in the water here for a couple of minutes till I got it back out again. So yeah, no real damage done, but it was rather frustrating. Oh boy. Sometimes I even amaze myself. So after I escaped a grabby tree, I found this dock, and it had a nice fish swimming around on it on live scope. So I was fishing with a drop shot, and it hit. And I pulled it up, and of course, it's a stalker trout. Oh, dang it. Anyway, I get him unhooked and set him free. Somebody else can eat him on their dinner table. I don't want those things. Well, there you have it. That was essentially the trip. I drove an entire hour to get to this lake so I could catch one largemouth bass. Okay, I caught a couple of rock bass and a trout. It was a good time. I enjoyed the trip, but it was a nice lake too. I really liked the lake. I think that my skill in fishing didn't demonstrate really how many fish are in this lake. It looked to me like there was a lot more fish than I was able to extract. But at any rate, I recommend the lake. You guys should give it a try. Appreciate all you guys. If you like this silliness, please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful rest of your day.